All right. So where I left off before was getting my prescription. So I was prescribed Celexa. One of the things she recommended was to take a half dose for the first week because some of the side effects can be like an irritable stomach and kind of nausea and diarrhea symptoms. And she said that your stomach has to kind of get used to taking this medication. It can be really tough on the gut. And that was a huge help to me. I cannot imagine what it would have been like taking full dose. So I just split the pills in half for the first week. Then once I was on a full dose, because I had gradually built it into my system, I never felt robotic and numb and drugged. I have, previous experience with mood altering drugs because I had ADD and I was treated for it as a young person, as a student. And I really hated the way that I felt on ADD drugs. So I've taken a lot of different versions, but I took Concerta, Adderall. I'm trying to remember some of the other names of them, but basically like those drugs, and they've gotten better recently, but those drugs took away my symptoms, but they also took away a lot of what made me feel normal and feel like myself. And so while it helped in some ways, there were other major issues, and eventually some of those caused me to stop taking them, and I did not want that for a solution for my depression. I didn't want to have to stop taking something because of the side effects, because that's not really a recipe for long-term wellness. So anyway, my ADD experience made me really nervous that I wouldn't like the way I felt on antidepressants. And I'm not sure if I said it yet in this video. I was prescribed Celexa, and it's a 20 milligram dose. I take that once a day. I've chosen to take it at night because it can make you a little bit drowsy at the onset. And so that just works better for me. And it works better that I can remember to do it because I can do it after my kids are asleep. Versus if I do it in the morning, then they wake up with immediate needs of like, I need to be changed and I need to go potty and I need to get dressed and I need food. And so it's a lot easier for me if I can spend time at night thinking about what I need, and that includes taking my medicine. So that's been one tip that I got, and I would pass along, that, you don't have to take it in the morning. I know most people get up and take pills in the morning, but you don't have to. You can take it whatever time makes it easiest for you to remember to take all the time. That's something that I struggle with. The days kind of blur together, so you're like, did I take it yesterday or today, or I don't remember. So anyway, okay, so initially, this is going to sound weird, but the first couple of days I took it, I couldn't stop kissing my husband. And like, I was like weird, giddy, like everything he said was super funny. And I was so skeptical of this at first, like super skeptical, because normally with the rage issues, like everything he said was so annoying, and I was constantly irritated. We were constantly bickering, and these are all things that, because I'd had depression issues for most of our marriage, I thought were just normal, and like he just was annoying. What I've come to see since I've been on medication and had that tool in my arsenal is that those issues were in my head. And I know that phrase gets a lot of like negative connotation to it, but for real, my brain wasn't chemically processing properly to the point that I thought my husband was a jerk. And, everybody can have moments, but like he wasn't always a jerk. He was actually really funny and really sweet. And once I started taking medication, I could see that. But at first I was really nervous that like, that's just the drugs. I got to a point where I just accepted that the feelings of connection and love are based on chemicals that naturally occur in your brain. So why fight the connection and feelings of love that are created by this supplement medically in my brain, right? Like they're not really that different. And so I just kind of accepted that it's okay for me to need this for my brain to process things accurately. That's okay. What I did see about 6 or 7 days in was even when you're on antidepressants, you can still have bad feelings, and that's okay too. After a couple of days of having really great feelings and feeling so relieved and so much better, markedly different and markedly improved, then I had a couple of days of feeling kind of icky, and that's fine too. Like, that's a good thing. Normal people have bad feelings, and having a bad feeling doesn't make you a bad person, but being depressed makes it difficult to distinguish bad feelings from yourself. I hope that makes sense. I hope that lands somewhere in resonates with you. I had gotten to the point where I thought if I felt bad, it was because I was bad, versus having a bad, external stimulus, having something bad happen, or having something happen that you feel badly about, and you can look at it and recognize that it's outside of yourself. It's a feeling that you had. It's not who you are, and it's okay to feel bad. Working through that as a healthy response, most people who don't have depression issues can look at that and behave responsibly and react with patience and tact and, kind of all those healthy responses. So I was really happy to get to a point where things could happen that I didn't like, that I didn't feel lovely about, but that I could handle. My kids could throw a tantrum, and I don't go lock myself in the bathroom and try to numb myself and try and feel nothing and try and escape. They could have a tantrum, and I could stay with them and talk them through it and help them cope and help myself cope and breathe through it. So now, okay, let's see, it's the beginning of August. So I've been medicated for about 2 months now, and I've had some of those really great feelings and some of those really not great feelings, but the main difference to me is that that I can cope, and I have to choose to cope. It doesn't, medication doesn't do the coping for you. It just gives you the tool to help your brain be more in sync and more kind of aligned. I tell my husband all the time that I have kind of my logical brain and my emotional brain, and I feel like they're more connected now, whereas before, my logical brain would be sitting there going like, what the hell are you doing, emotional brain? Why do you even think that? And I could see the things that I was doing, which were irrational, but it didn't matter. Emotional brain had control, and logical brain was helpless, just watching it all happen. So I feel like they're more in line together and can kind of work together more. They're both really important parts of who I am. They're both really important parts of, how I experience the world, but they have to be kind of more congruent. So that's the major thing for me, medication-wise. Some things that I hadn't expected was that my libido returned, like insanely. This might be awkward for those of you who know me personally, but whatever. About the same time that I was treated for depression, I also got an IUD, which was a huge stressor for me before. I was really fearful of getting pregnant again because of my postpartum depression. And, despite the fact that my husband and I both want more children, we need to be in a more healthy place. I need to be in a more healthy place before I get pregnant again. And so that was the impetus behind getting an IUD, so that I wasn't as fearful and stressed about pregnancy, potential pregnancy. Anyway, so that's part of the libido, is that I'm not as fearful of getting pregnant, and so it's easier for me to be intimate and not, have the anxiety about it. But definitely I noticed a huge difference when, before I even got the IUD, when I was on Celexa, because that was about 2 weeks difference, as far as like the timing of those treatments. But, yeah, so that's something I didn't expect, but it makes a lot of sense that a decreased libido is a symptom of depression, and so you can have a return. I had heard the opposite with a lot of antidepressants, that it can, one of the side effects is it can reduce your libido and kind of squash whatever sex drive you do have. And so I was over the moon, so happy that that wasn't a symptom I had, or a side effect that I had from taking antidepressants. So just like put that out there, like, hey, by the way, you might have the symptoms or the side effects of low libido, but you might not. It might be the other way around. So I feel more human, which is great. And I don't know, I definitely do have the sensitivity in the stomach, like whenever I started. And one thing I didn't expect is that one day this was like a week ago, I accidentally skipped a dose. Like I said, sometimes the days blur together and I forget, did I take it today? So there was one night that I did not take it, and the next day, I didn't even realize it that night that I hadn't taken it. The next day, in the afternoon, I had a horrible headache, and I never get like migraines or whatever, but I had a horrible headache and my stomach was hurting really bad, and I just thought, I'm dehydrated. That's usually my go-to explanation for a headache. So I just thought, I'm dehydrated, I need to drink more water. Drink more water, didn't fix it. I was like, maybe my blood sugar is low, I need to eat something. Ate some food, didn't fix it. In fact, it made it worse because my stomach was really hurting too. And so, anyway, after a while, it dawned on me. It was probably like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, oh, I haven't taken my medication since 2 days ago. Great! Yay! So I was having like withdrawal symptoms from only 2 days of not taking it. So there were two things I learned from that. First of all, not taking it is not an option. I know some people, because you really shouldn't drink alcohol with SSRIs in your system. The drugs exacerbate alcohol's effect. One thing people do, which I wouldn't recommend, so that they can drink if they know they want to drink, is they'll stop taking their medication. Like if they want to drink on the weekend, they'll stop taking it for the weekend. I learned very quickly that that's not an option for me, because even if I'm able to drink, the effect of the headache and the stomach ache and cramping that I would get with that was like so not worth it. I would rather go without alcohol, as much as I enjoy a lovely drink. Yeah, those symptoms really suck. So yeah, I learned very quickly that I can't do that. And I also learned that taking it again, if you skip a dose, you're going to experience the same kind of symptoms you did when you first started. And so it was like I had started all over again. So it just made me way more aware of like not skipping and really being mindful. And I don't have a perfect system yet. If anybody has an idea of like how they remember to take medications, it's something that I'm bad at, but I have to be good at this because, I have to learn because I need this so much. It's definitely not something I can go without, and it's a tool that I need right now. So, gotta take it. Yeah, so that's kind of my journey as far as like what are the effects of the medication so far, and kind of how is that going. I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys about what's working for you. Are you taking medication? What medication is it? I've heard from some people that took a medication they didn't like, and this is probably just coincidence, but a lot of them have been prescribed Wellbutrin and didn't like the effect. I'm sure Wellbutrin works for some people, but it seems that it's not a great suggestion for postpartum depression. I mean, I don't know if that's just universal or if that's just the experience of the people who've reached out to me, but I've heard that from 4 different women that they took Wellbutrin and didn't like it. So, like I said, I'm loving Celexa. It really works for my symptoms, and I don't have side effects that are intolerable. So, but I'm just interested to learn kind of what's working for you, what are you taking, what has been your experience. Just feel free to share. I hope that this opens up a dialogue so that more moms can talk about it and feel more connected. So until the next video, be well.